Good day, USA. I'm Bert, proud U.S. Navy vet and automotive retail expert, and this is the 2008 Toyota 4Runner High Mileage Review. Okay, so this 2008 Toyota 4Runner has 189,000 miles on it. That's the equivalent of driving the equator 7.5 times around the planet. So let's look at a couple things that would typically break on most vehicles, but this is the reason why I swear by a 2008 Toyota 4Runner or any Toyota 4Runner. Let's take a look. Door handles. This is with 189,000 miles of doing this back and forth over the last 9 years. Rearview mirror, still solid and everything like that. There's not anything flimsy or giving way on it. A lot of these mirrors will go loose after a couple of years and start to give way because you have certain components in the inside, plastics and stuff like that holding it. Fender flares, everything looks tight. Wheels, I've replaced the tires about 25,000 miles ago. I did what the manufacturer called for. It was this size tire and didn't show a whole lot of wear or anything like that. Brakes held up very well. Of course, just replaced the brakes about every 50, 60,000 miles. Let's take a look at the front. The front of the vehicle here. The front of the vehicle, after all the miles and stuff like that, everything's held together pretty well. Nothing's like getting loose or anything like that. Very solid. I've had the headlights polished and buffed because over a few years they start to show a little bit of, start to go a little bit yellow. Other than that, everything like that on the outside looks pretty good. You're gonna get a couple rock chips because as I said, it's 9 years old with 180,000 miles on it, okay? So everything pretty much solid and such. Other mirroring, holding together just like it should. It's not loose or anything like that, except from driving all those miles. A passenger in and out of the vehicle at the same time of 9 years. So exterior of the vehicle, just everything we're looking for is held together really well with this vehicle. Be surprised. Looking at it, it doesn't look like it has 189,000 miles on it. Toyota did a great job by putting LED taillights in here, so you don't have to worry about the taillight bulbs going bad or anything like that. Spoiler, but everything on the vehicle on the outside is held together really well. Take a look over here. I just want to say a couple things here. Rear bumper applique. I did re-black that out with just using a little bit of Armor All Black Magic. Rear hitch, everything like this on the vehicle is just held together really well. As you can see, it's a real solid vehicle. Rear windshield wiper. Here's something that on a lot of vehicles tends to go bad. Take a look at this over here. This little rear handle right here tends to go bad on a lot of vehicles, but as you can see, it's held together really well. And this has an electronic shut, so it shuts together pretty tight. Other than that, take one more look over here on this side. The fuel door and such, as I said, everything on the outside of this vehicle is just held together really well. And that on the exterior of the vehicle is really important. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, engine compartment. Hood struts hold the engine up, hold up the hood really well. After a few years, usually they wear out with a lot of other manufacturers. Toyota, with their Japanese supplier Denza, does a great job. It's held up really well. This is a 4-liter V6 with variable valve timing with intelligence, so it actually gets great gas mileage. But if you take a close look here, if you look at the valve covers and everything like that, this one, don't see any leaks, nothing dripping down or anything like that onto the exhaust manifold. If you just take a look around inside of here, I mean, this engine compartment is dry as can be. Nothing seems to leak, no squeaks, no rattles. It's a maintenance-free timing chain, so it doesn't really require much maintenance at all. I've changed the oil about every 5,000 miles on the vehicle, so that basically is probably one of the best things you can do for your vehicles, just constantly keep up with the oil changes. Few periodic maintenances that I've recommended, just a few minor things, but nothing major has ever been done after 190,000 miles that this vehicle has been driven. So everything looks great. Toyota does a good job with not having a whole big mess underneath here when you get underneath the hood, but it looks great and I'm really impressed with it.